Hey, and welcome back. This lesson, we're going to loop through multiple items within an object. So a JSON format, so make sure we'll do my object. So I have a more generic name there. And this time, let's get rid of the stuff we've been working with earlier and try something completely new. So this time, let's build out an object, and we're going to have a bunch of friends in this object. So a list of friends, and let's create an array of these friends. So there we go. So we'll add in some friends. So each friend is going to have several properties. So they'll have a first name, and let's give this, let's create one friend there, and also a last name. And let's give them a last name. Let's add it in like this. So let's clean that up. And we'll comma separate that out. So this will give us an opportunity to create another friend. So just make sure you don't grab that comma there. So again, first name, and keeping that format. So always try to keep that format when you're building out these more complex objects. And this editor doesn't make it easy. So let's try that out again. And let's see what my object returns. So it returns our friends. We've got an array, 2 friends in there, and we've standardized that output. So we've got first names and last names for both of them. Let's go back into our lint, and always good idea to make sure that we've got valid JSON, and we do. So that's all good. And let's now, what I want to do, so let's say you do have a scenario like this. You've got 2 friends, so it's kind of manageable. You can return back that data. But what happens if you have even more friends? So let's add in another friend. I'm going to add myself in as a friend. So I don't know whose friends these are, but somebody's got a list of friends, and they've got the 3 friends listed here. So now what we want to do is we want to output all of the friends' information. So with JavaScript, really super easy, because we know that with arrays, we can loop through all items in the array, and then output their values in the console. So we know that if this is a regular array, we can hit each one of those and we can return back that information. So if we do my object, we see we've got friends, we've got an array. So this looks very familiar. We've got the length. So this is just a regular array. So all we have to do is get to that array. So let's list out, create a variable called users, my object, and we've got a number we saw last time. There's different ways to grab that information. So let's see what user comes up with. So users, looks like a standard array, got the length there. So now we've got a number of options. We can do a for loop. There's also some other ones too. So JavaScript provides us a number of options to loop through. So we can do variable in users. So this is just going to get the index value, and now we can console log out that information. So we can go users x, because we're getting an index value. So let's see what happens now. And now we can get back the first name and last name as needed. So what I want you to do now is pause the video and output the first name and last name in the console of all 3 of the friends, and then go ahead and add one more 4th friend and output that person in the console as well. So first name, last name format, and put it all on one line together. And I'll show you the solution. First name, and then JavaScript, we're concatenating it together. Always good to leave a space, first name and last name, so we don't crunch that user information together and paste it. And then this one, instead of first, it's going to be last. And then we also said that we need to add in one more friend here. So let's grab it by the comma, and keeping that format the same. So let's add in Alice. So there we go. So we printed out all of the friends' information, and we've output them all in the console. And now you can also output them into your JavaScript if you want to do that. So this is now optional. This is all getting into JavaScript and all the really cool things you can do once you have these values as usable variables within your JavaScript. You're free to do. Sky's the limit on what you can do with those values. And I'll quickly show you how you can actually output it into kind of an addition. So we're going to just simply grab it by the ID and output it. And then over here, let's, as we're looping through, let's set a variable called HTML. And then in here, instead of console logging out, we'll add to HTML, same information. I know typically you'd probably put this in a function or something like that, but for now, let's just do it this way. Get element by ID, because we are using ID, so output, and then inner HTML, and that's it. So let's try that out, and there we go. And probably better idea to add in a line break. And you can customize the coding, whatever makes sense for you. And you can also do something like X plus, because we do already have the number there. We can do a dot space. This will need to add 1 there, because of course arrays start at 0, so it's good to keep that in mind. So we're outputting X plus 1. So it's actually taking this as a string value and adding it. So we have to do a little bit more of an adjustment here. So turn it into a number and then add 1 to it. So there we go. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know that was a little bit of a roundabout way to get that output. And of course, you can do the output, whatever makes sense for you, however you want to output that content that you're getting from your JSON data. And that's really the key, that you're pulling in this data and then you're manipulating your HTML page using that data and allowing the users to view that data. So it's not actually coded, so you don't actually see where it's coded. It's just pulling in that JSON object. And this could actually be coming in from another website or a server. Server could be pulling it back from a database, outputting it as a JSON object, and then you're just pulling it in and making use of it. And I am going to show you how to do that in the upcoming lessons. So that's all coming up, and that's going to get even more exciting when we start introducing Ajax and we're getting data that we don't have to write out, that we can just pull in, parse through, and then output it on our web page. So that's coming up.